What's happening, friends? Welcome to Unlocked. It's IGN's weekly Xbox show. Plenty to talk about, as always, in the world of Xbox. Jade Raymond leaving EA Motive. That's a big studio departure. We'll talk a lot about that coming up. Also, Devil May Cry 5. I think they're trying to get us to talk about the game a little bit because they've got an Ultimate Edition to end all other Ultimate Editions. Plus 4 Valve software classics getting the Xbox One X enhanced backwards compatibility treatment. We'll talk about that and more this week on Unlocked, which a reminder, you can now find us Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern at unlocked.ign.com, or Wednesdays everywhere else. I'm Ryan McCaffrey, Destin Laguerre.
Hi, everybody.
To my right, Brandon Tyrell.
Hello.
And we're pleased to be joined
Howdy.
by the Dougster.
I'm here
Now,
to talk
James
about
Duggan.
COD. Dougster, I like the Dougster.
You're
I think
okay
the
with that?
Dougler, the Dougler slightly beats it out.
I don't like the Dougler.
I like
I don't like it at all.
Dirk Dougler.
exactly.
Stop.
That's where it
exactly where it's going.
That's where
I
it's boogie
just
nights.
went there. I'm sorry. Had to do it. Anyway, guys, got a lot to get to this week. Starting with, so the big question I keep getting asked, which I apologize, I just want to get it out of the way that I can't answer it, is when does the Red Dead Redemption review go up? We have our lawyers combing through the NDA, and I can't say when it posts yet, which I know is ridiculous, and that'll have probably changed by the time this goes on the air. But let's just say it'll be before release. I can tell you that. Some lawyer just
Can you?
comes in,
Yeah.
just-
Can you?
just
We aim to help.
just comes in and grabs me.
A
and
hook
takes me
just
away.
comes from camera left and just takes you right off.
Stage right. I'm out of here. Anyway, it'll be before launch. Stay tuned to IGN's Twitter, my Twitter, any of these guys, for details on that when we are allowed by lawyers to share them. Elsewhere this week, James Duggan, it's an insane coincidence that you're here.
Oh, yeah?
Can't imagine.
I don't. Why
What'd
would
you
that
do with
be?
Miranda?
Call of Duty.
Call of
We
Duty.
played
Stay
Call
a
of
while
Duty.
and listen.
We were talking about Diablo just recently.
Yes, we were.
Lots of Deckard
Backstory.
Cain this week.
Switch.
Deckard Cain, have you heard the Deckard Cain rap?
I have.
They did years
Yes.
ago for
Oh.
April Fool's Day. It's so good.
Do I have time for a quick anecdote? I do.
You do.
So I was touring Blizzard before Hearthstone came out as part of like kind of a fan site thing. I was working for Curse.
Yeah.
And we walked by the Diablo 3 writing room and somebody just pointed in
Yes.
at all these writers like with their, MacBooks in hand, like huddled up in the middle of the room and they go, "See that? That's where they killed Deckard Cain." They all just went. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be back.
He'll be
I
back.
feel like the ghost
I
of
think
Deckard Cain will
He's
be
not
back.
coming
He'll
back.
be back.
He's not
You
coming
can
back.
never leave me.
He's not
Heroes.
I stayed a while, and I'm listening.
I'll stay forever.
Back for me, please.
Clingy Deckard
Hero.
Cain.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4,
Yes.
James Duggan. You were part of our three-headed review monster.
Sure. Turned into four heads at the end. there
Four-headed
with
review monster.
with the full thing.
Like quite the Hydra
Yeah.
situation,
Nice. Nice.
right?
Good use of mythology.
Yeah, we nailed it. But you were on the Blackout portion.
Yes.
Which is arguably the most, if not the most anticipated part of Black Ops 4, certainly the part people are most curious about.
Yeah.
And you've spent a ton of time in it. We talked about the beta, and probably we had Mark Medina in here talking about the beta. But now that it's out, it's in the wild. How do you like it? How'd you feel about it?
Well, man, it's been kind of a roller coaster. I initially loved it. I liked it a lot in the beta, and a lot of the things that I didn't really have a ton of issues. A little bit of the randomization I felt was somewhat shallow, but overall, the kind of, if I may say, superficial combat of Call of Duty. Forgive me for saying that. For anybody who's a fan out there, I think Black Ops 4 does a decent job of mixing up the combat and multiplayer. But in Blackout, that kind of simple combat serves a fantastic purpose because it exists in this very dynamic space filled with these really fun variables like a grappling hook or a flashbang grenade, the ability to wingsuit off of buildings. There's even kind of a meta that happens because there's a lot of throwables like flashbangs, concussion grenades. You can also put down a trophy system that blocks those, and then you can get an engineer perk to destroy people's trophy systems. So they almost built their own little
Rock, paper, scissors.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
and I like that part of it a lot. It's very fast. It's very fluid. Battle Royales historically came from kind of a military simulation place from Arma 2 Daisy
yeah, a
Battle
little
Royale.
slower, a little quieter.
Yeah, and clunky, for lack of a better word. And I think a lot of that translated into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and even in Fortnite, you need to stop to heal yourself. That's obviously a strategic choice on the developer's part. Call of Duty, though, opting to allow you to heal yourself.
Yeah, you just
run. Just bam. You can be sliding, you can be sprinting, you can be grappling, you can be doing whatever. Actually, I don't think you can be grappling, but anyway, point stands. There's a ton of mobility. It's very fast paced, and in that sense, it's a lot of fun. So coming out of launch, I had a great time. There's even some zombies. Oh, the other big piece to this is they take kind of the greatest hits of Black Ops, things like Array and Estates, previously known as Raid, and they sprinkle them around the map, as well as some zombie maps like Zombie Asylum and Diner. And it's a very, very fun, replayable space that I think is kind of a baseline impression of what Battle Royales are. And for folks like myself who've already had a lot of time with Battle Royales, what we're getting with Blackout is a remarkably fluid, a remarkably polished experience. However, the day after I posted the review, so Thursday last week, Friday rolls around, they drop a patch on PC, and I have yet to be able to complete a match on PC. I've been freezing.
Connectivity.
There's a memory leak supposedly.
That's not good.
No, and it is really unfortunate.
Why don't they just revert? Can they not do it?
I guess
Cat's out of the
it's not
bag?
affecting enough folks. But so anyway, you drop straight away, and this wingsuit experience.
Shout out to Bodum.
Very, very, very fluid. It just immediately kind of gets you into this world. There's an enormity of mobility. There's that healing on the run. You can even shoot underwater. If you're shooting, you can throw like a flashbang or grapple at the same time, so nothing really stops the momentum. That core Call of Duty momentum is there. The inventory, it's all right. Could be better.
Has any? I know that's a common complaint, certainly on the Xbox version of PUBG as well, is the way the interface and the inventory works. Is that just an inherent Battle Royale problem?
I think so, but PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds does a pretty good job. I think Fortnite's inventory is not good, personally. I think it's almost intentionally obtuse. This, I think, is an attempt to make it extremely intuitive, but they sacrifice a lot of depth. Like the way people actually loot in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is by hitting tab and running up to a corpse, and then based on the proximity, you're able to see their loot and drag it. Here, though, you just have to click the box, hit F on it when you kill somebody, and then you have to kind of click stuff into your inventory. If you want to switch out the attachments on your guns, you have to drop them all on the floor, change guns, and pick them back up.
It also kind of locks you in there for just a second, but that can be the moment of death for you.
Oh, there's a throwing axe. Very important stuff. And these are the creative things that I'm talking about, like with mesh mines and cluster grenades.
Would you say that Call of Duty and Battle Royale are a pretty good match here?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think here at a very top level, the simplicity of Call of Duty's combat mixed again into this dynamic space where there's a lot on the line, kind of solves both the problems of both the kind of obtuse Battle Royale genre and the potentially superficial Call of Duty combat. So as somebody who hasn't really gotten into Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2, I've sunk a ton of time in.
So this is bringing you back to Call of Duty then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the vehicles. Surprisingly really good.
That's the first thing that surprised me, really, is I haven't played Blackout yet. I haven't actually played Blobs 4, but I mean, I don't think there have been vehicles in a COD since World at War when you could get in a tank and go
certainly
on a
haven't been
50 kill streak.
emphasized in a long time.
And the vehicles surprisingly so when you get into the back of somebody's motorcycle in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and you're aiming around, or in like kind of a UAZ, it's a very clunky kind of like, the guy is driving and then your client is trying to catch up and you're jittering all over the place with your gun. In Black Ops, though, you jump in the back of a truck and you can actually run and jump and slide in the bed of a truck, aim, and it's all incredibly fluid in a way that I've never experienced, which is very surprising.
So for people out there that are maybe on the fence, that are thinking, this sounds pretty good. Should I buy Call of Duty this year? I mean, would you say, and I pose this question not sort of derisively, but out of just sort of genuine curiosity, more for maybe call it a devil's advocate thing, but I'm kind of curious, is this like a baby's first Battle Royale, or is there enough there to really satisfy hardcore fans of the likes of Fortnite and PUBG as well?
I think the latter. I think that if you're really, really into Fortnite, you're into the building, there's a skill cap there that isn't really present in Blackout. However, the common feedback I hear from a lot of Fortnite players is like, I like how smooth it is. I love Battle Royales. The building, though, it's just a bit obtuse. It's not something I want to engage with. It slows down combat. So this, as I said before the game came out, is the best Battle Royale without building. If you just want to focus on the core FPS combat gameplay with all these interesting gadgets and teamwork, the duos and quads format are also fantastic. I think this is much more than a baby's first battle royale.
Good.
I think this is the most polished, with the exception of the crashes, which at this point are cataclysmic. Once they fix that, in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the fluidity and how it feels, I think this is the most enjoyable battle royale to date for me.
And then the last topic I want to address with you here before we move on, moving past your review and into James Duggan, the shooter expert, the battle royale expert, where do you think, how do you think Blackout evolves from here? We know we'll have another annualized Call of Duty release next year and the year after that and the year after that. Will we see another map added at some point? How do you see this sort of living as within the Call of Duty ecosystem going forward?
That's a really good question, and I think that's a concern that's on everybody's mind, because when you look at PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and especially Fortnite, Fortnite I think is doing maybe the best job of any game right now in terms of post-launch support, in terms of frequency, as well as longevity. That game is going to be around in 10 years easily. The Battle Pass gives you something to kind of grind for right now in Blackout. I think the question is what's next, especially with, like you mentioned, the annualized release cadence of Call of Duty. What I don't want is somebody who's already committed themselves, both from a financial standpoint as well as a time standpoint, into Blackout, is to have the next Call of Duty have its own Blackout. Have to relearn the meta, have to maybe suffer through some changes that were ill-advised or something like that. I'd prefer to see this space fine-tuned and grow in a way that is synonymous with games as a service. What I want to see, and I think this is maybe a possibility, but probably not, this is kind of just wishful thinking, is them to, for Treyarch and Activision, to release Blackout as a free-to-play game, maybe like E3 2019, or maybe even as soon as like Q2 2019, and be like, hey, so many people have jumped into Blackout, so many people have enjoyed it, and now literally everybody can go out there and download it. And it makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's a little bit of a loss leader at first, because it might cut Call of Duty sales if people are already satiated with this mode. However, I think in the long term, you have a platform there for aesthetic monetization, for kind of a more long-term, non-conventional games as a service model that I think is what the players want.
I mean, Activision is a company, you know, I don't say this insultingly, but just matter of factly, we've talked about it before. They are a company that they're all about the bottom line, and they have no shame about that. They are a company that's in it to make money, first and foremost. So, you know, I wonder if they can adapt and evolve into this new, you know, this new sort of genre and new monetization strategy to find that right balance without wronging players or angering people in the process.
And there's no shortage of competition. Battlefield 5's Firestorm potentially releasing after the game or with the game. And I think this will be far from the last Battle Royale we see. I know that causes apathy in a lot of people, but when you jump in with your favorite franchise and engage in this mode, somebody once said to me, like, just think of it like Capture the Flag. You don't see Capture the Flag and go, oh no, another Capture the Flag. I can't. It's a mode that can leverage certain assets. A great example, especially it's relevant to this show, is Halo. You know, I could imagine dropping down onto this crazy Halo-esque map, picking up the noob combo, or finding a rocket, or all jumping in a Scorpion, or, you know, I think there could be something there. It's just a matter of, are the variables in your game, even if it's a MOBA like Battle Royale, but that's a whole other can of worms, are they interesting enough to facilitate this experience? And if they are, then I think it's a mode that will stand the test of time, personally.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear it's off to a solid start. Good stuff. All right. Brandon Tyrell,
hey,
you worked very, very hard leading the charge on our top 25 Xbox One list for the fall.
Yeah.
We all huddled in a room, argued for half hour or so.
It wasn't so much of an argument as a healthy discussion,
if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we there's a metal detector at the door. You got to check your weapons.
Yeah, pretty much.
We've had incidents in the past.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere near the game of the year discussions, but yeah, we all sat in a room, and every 6 months or so, we sort of sit down and decide which games are still on the list, which games still deserve to be on the list, anything new that has come out that we think should really be included to represent like the best stuff you can play on the Xbox One. Unfortunately, this generation, like, that same talking point of there aren't a lot of exclusives doesn't mean there aren't a lot of good games on that list. There are some exclusives. I mean, Inside is on that list, and that was Microsoft exclusive at a time.
We moved Sunset Overdrive up.
We did.
We feel it's continued to stay relevant and stay as awesome as it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, if you played Spider-Man and you haven't played Sunset Overdrive,
you're
I
gonna
would
love it.
I would advise you to go check that out because it's the same developer, obviously, and what that dev does so much better than anyone else, I think, is just pure movement. Like
Reversal.
how good it feels to play that game. And it's a different brand, but it's still very much the same. So yeah, we sit down and we argue a little bit and reason why the game that I want on the list shouldn't be there, and the game that you want to move up or down should or shouldn't. And then we come out with this list of what we think is the best representation of what value the Xbox One can bring into your life if you buy one. So go check it out. There's 25 games on there. Obviously, it is a top 25 games. It's the best Xbox One games we think are on the console right now. A lot of multiplats on there, but there are a lot of great games. And if you have an Xbox One X, odds are they look better than on any other console anyway.
True.
So
And it's always fun to see how mad people get at our purely editorialized opinion of top 25 games. Like
our
some of the
Twitter
people on-
profiles are blowing up right now.
So there was a guy last night. I don't want to
I
call
saw
him out,
I
but
saw
it was
that
just
one.
like, really, man? Like,
Yeah.
you really want to take it that seriously?
Yeah.
But people love games.
I love the
It's a passion.
I love the idea that Microsoft gets to say about what your opinions are on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's hilarious to me.
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah, if you we joke about it, but we actually really do like interacting with everybody
Absolutely.
about these lists. We put them together because we're passionate Xbox fans and we've been playing the on the platform for years and years and years and years. So if you check out the list and you have questions, either leave them in the comments and we'll see them, or reach out on Twitter. Brian and I we're both on Twitter and we're happy to talk to people. And
I never understood disagreements. I was just like, I'll just make my own list. This is my list. Like it doesn't matter.
Don't be rational these days. This is video
Yeah.
games.
Can I ask what the most contentious point was? Was there one?
Number one.
I mean, number one, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were some really thoughtful arguments like, oh, hey, I appreciate that you guys put together this list, and these lists are great to start conversation. For example, your number one wouldn't even be on my list. That's a great
I would
point.
say PUBG was one where it was like, should it be on the list? Should it not? Like, where does that sort of fall, given its sort of history and
State.
the early access up to 1.0, and so that was a interesting debate.
Are you asking like when we were putting it together, or are you asking?
Yeah,
about
when
the
we
reception?
were when you guys were putting it together. So on the PC list, I remember there was this debate about Left 4 Dead 2, and for whatever reason, I was the only one on Left 4 Dead 2's corner.
Oh, because you guys go back. The PC list is 10 years.
10 years,
right? So Left 4 Dead 2 still barely makes the cut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
wasn't
or
that
I think it fell out maybe
2008?
this fall. No, yeah,
Left 4 Dead 2.
yeah.
2008?
No, it's 2009. So I think it's still in there.
So it's
But
it's
in any
hanging on.
case, we had this huge kind of almost to the point of an argument, but of course all in fun. But I was wondering if there was something like that.
No, I mean Miranda and Ryan and I. Destin was unfortunately busy and didn't show up to the.
I
meeting.
read it and I'm like, close enough.
Destin Legarian,
Not enough
everyone.
destiny on this on this list. Miranda, Ryan, and I have done this, but 6 times now, so we have a pretty good understanding of what each of us likes and concede points and all that. For example, no surprise, I reviewed it. I love Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. It's on Xbox. I think it's the transition from PC to console. Like it's lossless. There's been no degradation in the controls. And I wanted to put it on the list, but isometric CRPGs are not a super popular genre these days. It's kind of niche,
especially on Xbox
and on consoles in general. Yeah. So we talked about it, and while I think it's a fantastic game and you should all play it, maybe it's not one of the best 25 games on the Xbox. But
I hope a Forza made it. Just kidding.
Yeah, well, that was a debate. Like, it
God,
was
every single no Forza Motorsport on this list. Get out.
Horizon's on the list.
There's a Horizon on there, man.
Up pretty high too.
I think Horizon's better than Motorsport.
Yep. Anyway,
I meant Horizon.
Well,
that's-
you're luck.
all right.
You're in luck because 3 and 4 are on the list. That's not true.
No, they're not. No, we
wouldn't do
talked
that,
about
so.
it though.
We
Like,
did.
Should we put 2 on the list? Like, no, we should.
But that's the great thing is even though they're multi-platform, you've got a lot of open world RPGs. You've got a ton of action games. I'm going to spoil a little something, and I put Dead Cells on the list because it's so good. So
We have to cut Halo though.
yeah. I mean, so there that's an actual conversation we have, right? Like Halo has been a flagship series or a flagship game. Take Two. Use Take Two, Dan. Flagship has been. We're live.
Flagship has been.
Use Take 3, Dan.
God, why do we record these so early in the morning now?
It's 11:27.
Yeah, I know. Halo has been a flagship series on the Xbox for forever. So, the question is like, does it deserve a spot because it's like the biggest budget exclusive? And that answer is no. If there are better games on the list that are multi-platform, they absolutely deserve to go above Halo. So you'll have to read it to find out.
Anyway, top 25 list. Fun to argue about.
It's live.
We had fun arguing about
Yeah,
it.
we did.
So let's move on. News-wise here, it's a little quiet this week, but a couple interesting notes. Jade Raymond, who was instrumental in creating the original Assassin's Creed, along with Patrice Désilets and the team at Ubisoft there. She went on to found Ubisoft Toronto, which produced Splinter Cell Blacklist. And then she created EA Motive, which is the studio that has been cooking up stuff. They were founded in summer of 2015, so a 3-year-old studio. They did the single-player campaign for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which was fairly well-regarded. And Jade Raymond, an announcement this week, has left EA Motive. And it's not that itself that has me sort of scratching my head a little bit. It's the way that it was messaged by EA. You guys tell me if you think I'm crazy, but I'll say like 16 years of doing this, my spidey senses tingled on this one. Like something's not right.
That's actually a PS4 exclusive, so we can't talk about it.
It's fine. There have been Spider-Man games on Xbox before.
Let's not talk about those either.
Not this one. My Sunset Overdrive sense was tingling.
There you go.
Other Insomniac game. Okay. So a representative told us from EA in a statement, EA Studios is focused on bringing more creative new games and content to players. Laura Meal and her team have taken several steps internally to better and support our game makers in this pursuit, such as expanding Samantha Ryan's portfolio to lead additional studios, including Motive. So Samantha Ryan now in charge of EA Motive. Samantha is known for driving creative design and supporting game teams so they can bring their visions to life. She's a deeply experienced game maker with a gamography that spans... gamography?
Whatever.
All right. We'll
It's
go with
visceral. Gritty. Video game words.
Yeah. That spans from The Sims to Batman Arkham City to No One Lives Forever to the highly anticipated Anthem. With this change, Jade Raymond has decided to leave Electronic Arts. In her time with us, Jade helped to build great teams, and our projects underway at Motive and other studios continue unchanged. We're appreciative of all of her efforts, and we wish Jade the best as she moves on to her next adventure. We are driving greater creativity into everything we do across EA Studios, and we'll look forward to sharing more in the months to come. So,
And then where was Jade's statement? I don't see it on this paper.
yeah, that's there's not one.
Really?
Oh, wow.
But not in the EA release. So yeah, what jumped out at me was the fact that there's no mention of her till about halfway or more through this.
It's a sentence buried in a paragraph.
And the fact that it starts with we're focused on this and this other new person. I'm not
weird.
basing this on anything but my own intuition here, but this feels like there's something off about this. The fact that the opening statement is about the creativity and bringing new games, and then it
Everything's
mentions this other
fine.
person, and that Jade is like way buried way down there. It leads me to believe that maybe this wasn't voluntary and or wasn't the most amicable split. Again, I'm only basing this on some unquantifiable thought inside my head based on what I read here. I'm not basing that off of any fact or evidence, but
Yeah, it's had a weird few years.
yeah,
Got beat up about Star Wars,
Yeah.
Star Wars was kind of a stumble.
Close
and then-
visceral.
Yeah, closed visceral, and this is happening. Sounds like they're going a different way with motive, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I definitely see why your spider sense are going
Guys,
off.
are you with me on this, or am I off base here?
Yeah, I think that is how that reads for sure. It definitely feels like kind of a Band-Aid over a gushing wound to some extent. I also kind of want to jump back to Battlefront 2 campaign, which is the thing that we've seen come out of motive.
Yeah.
And say, subjectively, I think the one thing that I wanted to see that do from a storytelling standpoint, which is so crucial to not just, single-player narrative campaigns, but also, I think, to Star Wars, is contextualizing a bad guy, contextualizing a stormtrooper. Yeah. That is what I wanted with Iden Versio. And I didn't get it. It was, I think that whole thing was spun as, we're going to contextualize this. We're not interested in telling a redemption story, but that's what happened.
Right.
So to me, that's somewhat of a failing. And I have to imagine that with a franchise as large as Star Wars, that has such a mass appeal, that has such kind of a younger appeal, focus, I feel like maybe contextualizing some of the steps creatively that they might have wanted to take internally from a storytelling standpoint got put on the chopping block and said, well, let's spin this positive. And I think that's a really, really difficult space to work creatively in. So.
Brandon Tyrell.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't sound like it was abrupt. This sounds like something that it was a decision at the studio. Whatever decision that was, whether they wanted to go with somebody else to drive a new creative direction, like they so flowery, so eloquently put, like me.
Adjective.
You want to go back to bed?
Yeah, I really do.
I feel like
I do too.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah. I'll go home.
This doesn't sound like something happened super abruptly. This sounds like they wanted to bring somebody in, and whether that she was going to be above Jade or replace Jade is kind of up for debate. But it doesn't seem like it was something that was like, oh, this is what everyone wants. That's just how it reads to me. Again, I have no understanding about what went down in that office, or over the likely weeks that this plan was being executed. But it does seem to me like, either Jade wasn't happy or she wasn't happy with the situation, and I'm curious to see what happens next for her.
Yeah, I think time will tell if our intuition here is correct. If we see in the next 6 to 12 months, if Jade Raymond starts a new studio somewhere
or gets
and
picked
hires
up,
like a third of this, and like a third of this team follows her, we've seen that happen with other studios in the past where creative leads depart and then they
happens at Blizzard annually. There's some new folks carrying the flag, but I think that is a really, really scary endeavor, and I think it.
Oh, absolutely,
sure.
Anytime you, anytime you leave a stable job, it's scary.
Yeah.
So there it is, Jade Raymond out for one reason or another.
What if this is just a terrible press release?
Well,
and then, what if all of our theories are just like taking the tinfoil hat off of my brain?
Well,
that is possible.
Yeah.
We'll see if she ever talks about it.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, when you leave a company, they have you sign an NDA that you're not going to talk about how it went down. So we'll see. I don't know if we'll get a statement. If we do, I'm sure it'll be like very excited about next steps and all that, rather than what happened.
I just imagine someone's writing up motive and their new direction and everything, and they're like, "Oh, don't forget to throw in that Jade left." Oh, all right, I'll throw it in here.
Like it wasn't in any of the drafts until the end. We're like, are we? Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh right,
that's what this is about.
We forgot.
I'm just trying to be hopefully that this wasn't a negative thing and just a bad press.
Right. And we certainly wish Jade Raymond the best. She has a very decorated career, has done a lot of wonderful projects and wonderful stuff in her career, and I have little doubt that she will figure out a way to continue doing that.
She has an okay resume.
Yeah, just a little bit. She's one of the more accomplished game industry folks that we have.
And visible.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Which is interesting.
Maybe I can. Maybe she'll come in for Unfiltered.
We can get down to the bottom of it.
Like, hey, Jade, if you're listening, come do our interview show. It'll be fun. All right. Speaking of fun, here's
oh boy.
Now on to important things.
Yeah, I know. Let's this is quite a. There's no way to smooth this one.
No.
Got to get it out.
Devil May Cry 5 has an $8,000 collector's edition.
And I want it.
Next topic.
Elsewhere this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Destin, what is this?
It's a jacket, right?
It's a series of jackets.
Oh,
It's a series of jackets.
I just knew about the one.
It's a series of jackets. Hat tip to Eurogamer here, who first reported this. There are 3 versions of it, and they each. So there is a. It's just unreal. Ultra limited edition, currently only sold by Capcom Japan. It's a jacket, so you can either buy the Nero jacket, the Dante jacket, or the V jacket. The V version is the cheapest. That's $5,300.
Oh, only.
If you'd like that.
That's not a bad deal.
The Nero version, $6,600. Dante's red coat,
How much is that, Ryan?
however, that's there you go. There it is. If you're watching on video, $8,000,
Jeez.
$8,000. The jackets, by the way, they won't even fit.
It's missing a sleeve. You're paying $5,300 and it's missing a sleeve.
I'll get to that. Yeah.
Sorry,
It's fashion, Brandon.
I just saw the picture.
So,
High fashion.
Yeah. They won't even fit a swole man like James Duggan because the jackets have been sized to match the scale of the characters in
And they're really big.
Devil May Cry
Yeah,
5.
the scale of imaginary characters.
Imaginary anime boys.
And they've, as Brandon Tyrell duly noted, they've been battle damaged in advance.
Well, I do
That's why the
appreciate
sleeves
that,
are up.
at the very least. Hey, if you're looking for like to cut a corner to your Halloween costume, this is it.
You know what I hate? Having to add my own battle damage. It's
I
so
have
annoying.
look. I have the jacket I was wearing in a motorcycle accident. I'll give that to you for like $200.
So
Is that an undershirt or is that one of them?
that's the V one.
Don't tell me.
Wait,
That's
that's the V one.
$5,000.
How much is that? Is that the
That's the
$5,300?
$5,300 one.
Are
It's a
you?
PR stunt. No one's gonna buy this crap.
Yeah.
So
Well, hey, we're
here's the
talking about
problem.
it,
Is
so
like they got it.
mission, mission
You
accomplished.
got us.
All
You
right.
got us, Capcom.
Let's say they make 100 of each of these, right? That's what, $500,000?
they won't.
No. That would be $500,000 in sales. So they probably make them for $25. That is such an efficient use of their marketing budget.
Well, and that's what I'm so because literally no one will buy this. This is
Oh no,
insane.
no. Rory Powers will 100% buy the Dante
Wait,
jacket.
We have a
You
video
say.
of Rory wearing one of them. I think
What-
when he did an interview at Gamescom, he actually
One of these actual ones, or was it just like a
it was
burgundy
a
jacket?
jacket at the event. I don't know if it ended up being one.
We have a video of Rory wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's this one.
It's one from the game though. I got to look it up.
Are they
so-
selling the motorcycle?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I would buy the motorcycle.
I think how is that not the ultra collector's edition for like $25,000?
Yeah, pretty much.
But
You can rip it in two and put it back together.
so I think we've just played into their marketing scheme by simply talking about it ahead of the game's release
Yeah.
in March. Because that's all this could really be, right? Is just to get people talking about the game.
100%. But it's a slow news week, IGN.
It is. We found the slow news week. It's in Q4 here with all the big AAA stuff coming out. Red Dead's out this week, you guys. We forgot to even mention that. We said the review's coming, but hey, by the way, the game's out on Friday. So there's that.
If you didn't know,
Spent so long waiting
coming
for
Friday.
it.
I know. It's I don't know. I feel like it's snuck up, even though we've been waiting for it for years.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And I'll be waiting for more years.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play
PC
it at
guy
launch.
over here. Well, I just want to play on PC. $60.
Well, it's all because them mods, right? Like,
Yeah,
the,
maybe.
the mods.
So-
the mods continue to create content on that, and that's really the only platform that supports it. Correct? Like,
I think that is certainly part of it. I think that there might be kind of a culture thing as well. An example would be Destin and CJ and all the folks who were previously playing Destiny 2 on console transferred over to PC because it was kind of an inclusive space where it supports controllers. I wouldn't care if Red Dead supported aim assist or whatever. I'm not interested in playing it in a competitive capacity. However, it's a very strange feeling to see this game that's like, wow, I understand why people are excited about this and still have potentially years to wait and maybe also just not get it.
I'm going to say something crazy.
Please.
I don't think they're going to put it on PC.
Make me sad.
that is pretty crazy.
I don't think they're going to do it.
you're basing that off of probably the fact that
Historically.
Red Dead Redemption 1 did not come to PC.
Yeah.
But
and
I think Duggan makes a really good point about that the online component does really change that equation from a financial perspective.
Yeah, but he doesn't have data to back up that the PC is the biggest platform, so we don't actually know
But
So I forgot my graphs. At my desk.
do you have
don't,
your
you're guessing,
visual
right?
aids?
that. You're guessing, and you're basing that off of your platform
Yeah,
preference. So it's a little dangerous to say.
There's somewhat of a bias there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
We'll find out after the show. I'll tweet
You're
it.
competing against 4 platforms. You got to remember, you got PS3, PS4.
But this isn't an
Xbox
additive
360,
thing.
and
This is
Xbox One.
I thought
which
Destiny 2 didn't.
I'm talking about GTA 5.
Oh,
look,
back
it's,
to-
it's
okay,
entirely possible. I could be wrong, but off a best guess, somewhat of an educated guess,
Yeah.
I would say the PC is the most successful platform in terms of GTA Online concurrence that I would assume translate to microtransaction sales, and I feel like that is a space that Rockstar is interested. At the very least, it's a smash hit.
I like, by the way, that you've got the Bill Clinton
I-
point here.
The PC.
I play on PC.
The PC would be the most popular because of mods. That's what we're saying. And
Yeah.
if you mod the game, you can't use the monetization. So
I mean, I've talked to developers who started on PC and switched to console, and just not officially or anything, they say that the consoles are more lucrative for microtransactions.
now, if Red Dead does come to PC, I'm not going to be shocked.
Yeah.
There are two ways I come out of this. A, looking like a fool, which wouldn't be the first time.
Hey,
Or B, I'm right. So we'll see.
you still look like a fool.
Hey,
Ooh.
what do you think?
Sick.
So let's
right,
say
you
it
two
does
shake
come to
hands now.
PC. No,
What's
we're
up?
good. I hate you. No, just kidding. No, we're good.
No, we're good.
Aggressive.
No.
I love that you're like,
let's
no,
say it does
but we're
come to
good.
PC,
Sure.
PC, Duggan. Like, is it a year? Is it 2 years? Because what was it
I
for
think it's more than a
GTA
year.
5? GTA 5 was like 2, right?
Goodness, when did GTA 5 initially release?
Hey, here's an idea.
It was I believe it was about a year and a half from the original 360 PS3 release to the PC release, because I believe it was April of like a year, and then from September 2013. I think it was, I want to say April 2015 for because it was a year later for the Xbox One version, and then I think the PC version was a little after that.
Not by
I've
much
got my-
though.
Yeah, just a few months.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
don't
I've
get
got
me
my
wrong. I'm not like choking on my pride. I think I will play it on a console. I just don't think I'm going to sink my teeth into it in the way that I would if it were on PC.
So as a PC bro, we play on PC together all the time. If you had to pick a console, which console would you play it on?
I don't know. The one my friends are on for Red Dead Online.
A reminder that you're on an Xbox podcast right
Be
now.
the Xbox.
The most powerful console on the market is the correct answer.
I would pick Xbox because, it's running native 4K. It sounds like PS4 is doing upscaling 4K, and that's the reason alone. Just
Sounds logical.
the best performing platform
Don't care at all.
right
dude.
now is Xbox, so I would play on Xbox.
There you go.
Like, that's my logic
Superior
there.
controller as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That cannot be denied for sure. I'll concede that.
Here's
When I plug a controller into my PC, it's an Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
here's
All right.
here's a fun idea. New consoles next year, perchance, or 2020.
Yes.
Maybe we see the what is it? The super duper enhanced remastered, like basically The Last of Us 4, the GTA 5 version, where they port it to.
A double dip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
of
double
course.
dip into the new console generation and then match that with the PC version.
Yeah, that would not surprise me at all.
That's just
although-
2 years. Like a year and some change. That's
I hope that if that does happen, though, I mean, the reason I was certainly stoked about it coming to Xbox One, even after I'd spent so much time with it on 360, because it brought new stuff to the table.
Yeah.
The first person mode was a big one. What are you cackling about?
Yeah,
People
why
are
are
gonna
you
think,
smiling?
People are going to think we're mad at each other,
You're-
but I
you
can't
smile and it
reach
creeps me out.
across
Well, look at this.
to do a
So
handshake.
Can you do it? Can you
he
read?
says,
Oh, it's
he
so
says no,
far.
and then I'd like to point out he gives me a left-handed
All right, fine.
handshake as well.
No, you know what? Now
Watch the coffee mug.
now hug. Now hug. I want to see a hug.
Oh,
No,
my goodness.
that's how you know the Destin at some point likes you is when he.
Oh,
it's like
dude, when I started here, Des and I used to get into it, and
Yeah,
now
we argue
and
about
now,
it.
Miranda,
now
please
we're
come
best
back
friends.
next week.
Now we're best
The
friends.
show is falling apart without you.
Sorry, Ryan. Ryan's trying to transition.
It's fine. No, it's it'll be interesting to see what happens with Red Dead as far as both PC and Scarlet too. It's
Scarlet.
bound to live on and make a ton more money than just what it's going to make this year on this console. Okay. Final news item this week. 4 Valve classics. These are all such good games.
Yeah.
They're out. They're 360 releases, but they've gotten the Xbox One and X enhanced treatment as part of the backwards compatibility team. Bill Stillwell and the group there at Microsoft. So you have the orange box, which is a bunch of games in one unto
God.
itself.
Maybe the best value of all time.
Of all time. Absolutely. You have Portal. It's all of Portal 1. You have Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. All of them Xbox One X enhanced.
Which is weird because all of Left 4 Dead is in Left 4 Dead 2.
That's true.
Though I suppose if you don't want the special infector from 2, you could. It's just a strange thing.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre. But it's hey, if you didn't buy Left 4 Dead 2, you have Left 4 Dead 1,
Yep.
you still get the benefit here. So it's these games are old now by relatively speaking. They're a decade old.
They're still good though. I mean,
But yeah, that's the point.
Portal
It's-
holds up because it doesn't have to do anything spectacular. It's just a really cool puzzle game.
and it's the art direction's beautiful and
And Left 4 Dead, we talked about it on the show. Duggan and I were talking about how Call of Duty Zombies kind of reminded us of Left 4 Dead because of the call-outs.
There's a huge, for whatever reason, they gave Left 4 Dead 2 10 years, and then all of a sudden there are a bunch of developers, Vermintide, oh god, I'm not gonna be able to think of other ones, Earthfall, that are kind of approaching this 4-player cooperative. You need to work as a team.
Yeah.
Horde shooter genre. So this is definitely the progenitor of that. And if you haven't played Portal, it's 4 hours of your life, and it is so worth it.
Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, Portal's one of the greatest games of all time. I do think Portal 2 is better myself. I would. It's
I'll get into that
a
later.
valid debate, I think, of which one's better.
I go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, Portal 1 was incredible at the time, but I think Portal 2 I couldn't go back and think Portal 1 is better now. It's still
just
great.
such a cohesive narrative. As somebody who doesn't really enjoy puzzle games, the brevity of Portal, the cohesive narrative, the whole experience that you can almost experience in a single sitting.
You definitely could.
Portal 2 started to wear on me eventually.
Really?
Yeah.
See, the writing's so good, the mechanics evolve, you get so much going on by the end
I
of
don't
Portal
doubt it.
2.
I'll be honest, I like the co-op mode in Portal 2 the best.
I like that a lot
Yeah.
as well.
I never
Yes,
got the
indeed.
opportunity to play with that.
It's very fun.
You have
we
to
can
find
fix
somebody
that.
who's you can't
Win.
You have to play with the right person because it very quickly can devolve into that scenario of I'm just telling you what to do, or you have to be patient enough to try and let the other person figure it out as well.
So you're saying you two should play together?
No,
Well, we both-
Destin. It's God. If you shoot
We've
that.
both done it.
Watching Destin do Destiny raids, I feel like you would be a very interesting co-op partner.
Commander
You'd be
Destin.
fun.
He just tells me to shut up when I get too ragey. It's really great.
It's a good.
No
good
jumping!
dynamic.
Yeah.
All of his subordinates, his cronies, are too afraid to stand up to.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
If someone just says, "Hey, you're being too mad," I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right."
That's fair.
that's his whole thing. Is like he doesn't mess up all that often, but when he does, he's like, "Oh, whoops, mistake. It happens." And when somebody else messes up, he's like, "What are you doing?"
Give me your social security number. I'm gonna burn your life to the ground.
But we complete the raid, and that's what's important.
Yeah, if you've never played these games, for the love of all things good, please fix that now. They're probably fairly cheap on the Xbox store.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you've got an Xbox One X, they'll look about as sharp as they possibly can be for 10-year-old games. Great stuff here. All right, what do we got? We are starting to run out of time, but I promised the loot box.
Oh.
We skipped it last week because of time.
Hey, one more small news item before
yeah.
we jump ahead.
Please.
Sorry. Fallout 76 beta for you Xbox One players out there.
Right.
If you pre-ordered the game, that starts today. 4 p.m. Pacific time until 8 p.m. Pacific. The window does not shift. That's just those hours. So sorry, UK friends, you're gonna have to get up at midnight. So yeah, if you've been waiting for that, check it out. Details have been released about beta and like when it hits different platforms. So go check it out.
IGN will be streaming that today.
Yeah, if you happen to be catching this show right when it posts, pause this and go over to IGN.com or YouTube.com/IGN or Twitch or
That's a good point.
Mixer. And 4 p.m. Pacific today, Tuesday, we're streaming Fallout.
What are we, 43 minutes into the show? And if it goes up at 3, you have
We got
15
it.
minutes.
We're right on time. It's all good.
Go start the download.
Almost like we planned it.
All right, so Loot Box, our new segment. We're laying the marketplace report to rest. It's dead and gone. It's not coming back. But Loot Box, we'll do something random every week. And I promised the Ask Us Anything, the AUA, 2 shows ago. Didn't do it last week, so it's time to get to it. We're just gonna go rapid fire here around the table. Josh, whose gamer tag is Chester Chivo, is a longtime Unlocked fan. Do you guys care enough about achievements to play a bad game?
I used to. Xbox 360 I did since the one came out. Not as I don't care anymore.
Give me a
at
bad
all.
game that you played strictly for achievements or primarily for achievements.
Well, it's not a bad game, but I did Cameo. So like I did
Cameo's
Cameo,
a good
Need for
game.
Speed, Call of Duty 2. All those were pretty easy achievement games.
But those are all good games. I don't think.
I can't think of a bad one off the top of my head that I played, but I know there was
Yeah.
one where you could just like do a bunch of stuff at the beginning and get it. But it was bad, so I don't remember it.
There was one on the old XBLA store that was just called Achievement. I don't think it was Achievement Hunter,
Yeah.
but it was Achievement something where it's like walk to the left, 10 points.
Yeah.
Jump.
That was a whole
5
thing
points.
in Steam. Like they had to shut those down. There were dozens and dozens of these games that would just give you achievements every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I've got one for sure. It was notorious in the early 360 era for those of you fellow longtime Xbox players. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I think that's what it
1,000
was.
achievement points that you could get in seriously about 5 minutes or less. Just fire up the game and do a couple of dumb things. Like one was 200 points. I think another was like 300 points. And for those of you that remember, those point totals are unheard of. Most achievements were between 5 and
and
50 and maybe 100 if you were lucky for like beating the game on Legendary.
That's like, beat Halo 3 on Legendary with all skulls or something like that.
Achievements are the reason I played through Mass Effect so much, because there were a few ways you could game the system to use like your powers on the Mako to get all the achievements to pop, and it actually allowed me to see the game in a whole different way because I had to play as different classes, so I really learned a lot about the core systems they were working.
You know, we know that there clearly wasn't an achievement for though, was playing as FemShep. Because Destin never played.
Hot take burn.
Hey, I'm just dragging up stuff that Destin himself has admitted on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody likes the lady. I like the guy. Whatever. Yeah. Lady Shepherd.
What? Everybody likes the lady.
I'm gonna quickly move on.
No, I don't play games for achievements. Anymore.
Wow, look at you, Mr. Moral Integrity.
No, it's not about moral integrity. It's a time management thing. Like I already have to finish Spider-Man. Red Dead's coming out. I still got some stuff left to do to finish up Odyssey. There are a million games out there, and
No, I hear you.
I'm not worried about like back in the day when I covered XBLA, laying 5,000 miles of Minecraft cart track in order to get that achievement. I
The
finished.
real thing.
Yeah, I finished all those achievements in Minecraft 360, and I was like, cool, I'm done. I'm never gonna boot this game up again.
Done. But yeah, I'm like you, Destin. I definitely did it in the past. I have. I just don't have time anymore.
Yeah,
but
it's basically it.
Certainly did in the.
I get an achievement for feeding my puppy at 7 p.m. every day. You know, like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff you have to weigh.
All right.
I think the charms weren't off. Yeah.
George asks, "What would your ideal Splinter Cell sequel be?" Let's keep this quick, but you guys just looking at me. You want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I feel like you have a design doc
I mean,
somewhere.
like I have an
Probably
idea,
do.
but I can't keep it short.
No, it would obviously involve Michael Ironside, of course, but yeah, just I don't even care story wise because like the thing about Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which is my favorite original Xbox game, my favorite Splinter Cell game, I couldn't even tell you what the plot in that game was. It was pretty generic, like bad guys are doing stuff.
They've got a
go stop
bomb.
'em. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't even tell you what the plot in Chaos Theory was. It's all about the gameplay, the mission design. Just I want Chaos Theory too.
You want
That's really
like that good stealth action.
sandbox, yeah, open-ended, and doubling down, rewarding me for stealth and good AI, I guess, would be a nice thing to have. So that's all I'm looking for, really.
I like the systems in Blacklist,
Definitely.
but I don't remember what the story was at all. I remember a few missions that I got stuck on because I was playing on like perfectionist mode or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so those systems with the final story of Michael Ironside's character.
You want to see it? You want to see him killed off in the next Splinter Cell?
Whatever his finale is, I would like to see that. I think
Yeah.
just as a send off to
Just retires, gets a desk
I mean, he's
job,
an older gentleman.
working out of
Like,
We did it
Langley.
with Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting that the most memorable Splinter Cell story for me is Conviction, which is my least favorite Splinter Cell. I'm not calling it a bad game, but it's
That happens.
It's lowest on my list.
like that
But
one.
it had the coolest, most memorable story. So there you go.
Yeah.
Go figure.
There you go.
Marcus Brown, where is The Last Night? This game raised heads in E3 2017, and since then there's been little to nothing on it.
It's in development.
Yeah, I mean that's really that is the simple but true answer. Is Tim Saray and his team there. I haven't touched base with them in probably about a year now. I should do that. This is a good reminder to do
since
that.
last year's Hot Games. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's these small teams. They require as much time as they need because they don't have the resources to necessarily throw a bunch more people at a project to get it done. So
Where's below? Let's ask the real questions.
Nathan,
Cappy.
Daniel from Texas, what do you hope for Xbox to do with a new control? So for Scarlett, I think he's saying, like, what would you want to see revised about the Xbox One controller? I'm going to go Duggan's way first.
Remappable buttons.
You PC bro.
There you go. I mean, that's what like the advanced controller brings, right? Really that.
The Elite, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what, yeah, you're right. Like with PC hardware,
I forgot to bring
it's
the
all
taco
about
Xbox.
customization.
Go get it.
And it's all about, oh,
It's fine.
Sorry.
Keep going.
I have
Play
a-
it cool,
I have a-
Duggan.
I have a
Play it
surprise.
cool.
okay.
Brandon's gonna bring back
yeah,
something
it's all
fun.
about customization. It's all about being able to remap stuff to what is comfortable for you. And I think that with the Xbox being so closely tied to Windows and Microsoft, I feel like that's a very easy next step for them. And for those who are unaware of what I mean, you can obviously kind of change button layouts in a game. But if you went to the Xbox dashboard, there might be an area where you could like just say, for argument's sake, change A to right trigger if you want,
Yeah.
which would change the input going in.
You can do that, but you're saying standardize it.
Standardize it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's fair. Destin, would you want to make any tweaks?
Just a controller.
Yeah.
Controller's really good right now.
It's really good.
Like,
You
leave
wanna
it
see-
leave it alone.
Rechargeable internal battery? Do you want to stick with double A's? You want to...
Yeah, I guess the battery thing would be good, but I like having the option of popping in a rechargeable battery pack.
Yeah.
And doing it that way. It's like that's already available as an option.
Yeah, I do. Like, I get annoyed whenever I do have to change the batteries on my Elite controller, but it's fairly infrequent because it actually has really good battery life.
Yeah, I play
Much,
wired.
I mean, leagues better battery life than my DualShock 4. That's like, if I
Burns through it.
oh, yeah, it's really annoying.
I play wired because like I do a lot of game capture, and if the controller disconnects, you have to redo that sequence.
Yep.
So I just keep it plugged in most of the time when I'm playing, and
Yeah.
I just kind of do that. And when I'm playing on PC, if I'm using a controller for whatever reason, it's wired. So
Yeah, it has to
yeah,
be wired.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's an adapter there.
There
might be.
is.
there is,
but-
but for my setup, I just don't have that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, James, whose gamer tag is Jim406. I currently have a Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Edition Xbox One from November 2014. The wife said she'll get me an Xbox One X if I'd like one, and I do, but I wonder, how close are we to Scarlett realistically? Well, we actually mentioned that earlier in the show. We think fall 2020. That's our gut intuition based on the way Phil talked about it on stage at E3. So I get asked this from time to time. People will tweet me and be like, should I get an Xbox One X with Scarlett on the horizon? And for me, I say, if you've got a 4K TV now, why not enjoy it?
Yeah.
Enjoy that 4K capability for the next 2 years. And you're not necessarily going to buy a Scarlett at launch. Maybe you won't. But even if you do, you still have 2 years of Xbox One X 4K gaming that you could be doing.
Adding to that, there's been some killer deals for turning in your old console and getting a discount at some retail stores or at the Microsoft store, for example. So, yeah, I'd say get an X because you can get it pretty cheap.
I saw a headline, another outlet wrote it. I don't remember which outlet, but there was a headline that says how to get an Xbox One X for $200. And I haven't looked at it yet, but there are, I mean, speaking to your point, there are a ton of deals out there. Maybe not for $200, depending on when you do it, but like Black Friday is right around the corner. But Ryan's got a great point, man. 2 years away.
It's a long time.
Likely 2 years. There's a lot of games that are still coming out. And if,
Red Dead 2, Gears 5 is probably next holiday.
or already out. Odyssey, is great. Go play The Witcher 3 again. It's fantastic. But I think this is the last generation that we're going to see a non-backwards compatible default, right? I don't think we're going to see consoles come out in 2 years that don't support anything from this generation. I think everyone has learned their lesson that if you own a game for the Xbox One X or the Xbox One or the PS4, the next iteration of those consoles are going to be able to play it.
And Microsoft's been the leader in that front, making sure that it is a standard. They've been pushing on it. They get a lot of credit for that. All right, Jasper from the Netherlands, assuming that a new Fable is in the making, which direction would you guys like it to take? Would you like to see it, for instance, take notes from The Witcher or Skyrim, God of War? Fable hot takes? Where do you want to see it go?
I think it should take notes from Fable 1.
Yeah.
I think what Fable does really well is that sort of storybook fairy tale kind of atmosphere. when you boot it up and you hear that music has, go watch the trailer for Fable 1 again. That music kicks in and it does a fly through over Albion. And it's just like, it's like the Never-Ending Story or the Page Master, like these movies that, you know, we fell in love with as kids, or even the first Harry Potter movie, when that music plays as you get a shot of that alley, Diagon Alley. There's just that sort of fantastical element to it, and I don't care about open world, gritty or visceral, you know, cinematically driven experiences. I want to like get lost in a fairy tale.
Yeah,
and Fable is the closest franchise I've ever seen do that. You know, and then Fable 3 happened, but
there are actually benefits to it being narrower in scope as opposed to going really, really large, like something like Skyrim or Breath of the Wild. I think a really good kind of litmus test is comparing Breath of the Wild to something like Ocarina of Time. Obviously, there's a lot of time in between those releases, but my point is, I think one is able to tell a somewhat more cohesive story and really immerse you in spite of it not being a world that you can openly
100%.
like,
100%.
I'm going to go up on that mountain.
The one thing I do need to have the dog companion in the next Fable. We got to bring that over from Fable 2.
Well, Peter was right. Peter Molyneux was right. You really did care about that dog.
Sure did.
Yeah. I just want more chickens to kick.
I'm sure we can arrange that.
Yeah, I that game was full of secrets and surprises and riddles and puzzles, and it really captured that essence of like what it's like to be a kid in a fantasy world.
Yes.
You know? And
Absolutely.
I want more of that.
Finally, Austin Layton, whose gamertag Doggy Fresh.
Oh, doggy, you so fresh.
I wanted to ask what the group thinks the next big trend in gaming will be. Will it be peripheral focused like VR, or is there another trendy genre like Battle Royale on the horizon? Quickly, we're almost out of time.
I think it'll be tech-based. I think it's going to be streaming.
Streaming games?
Yep.
Like
Microsoft's streaming
yeah,
initiative that they just announced.
Live.
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a big move to cloud-based gaming. I think that's going to be the big one.
In that same vein, editing on the console, like they already kind of have it now.
like mod tools kind of thing.
No, like being able to edit videos.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, they have like the whole applications and suites that do that.
and I think they're going to continue to
kind of
refine
bare
them.
bones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, more streaming and integration for streamers.
Yeah, because community members just want that, and if you're playing on a console already, just like make it easier.
all right.
I think connectivity.
Quickly, before we do trivia, Brandon Tyrell, you brought a present.
Yeah. So
We could say that you've been thinking outside the bun.
Stop it. Stop it. You could say I've been running for the border. No. So Microsoft has partnered
Are
with.
you wanted by the police?
I am, because I stole it. Microsoft has partnered with Taco Bell to reveal. Let me see where the camera is here. To reveal the.
Platinum.
There you
right?
go, there you go.
Platinum
There it
is
is.
the
Bam.
official name of
Yeah,
this.
this is the Platinum Xbox One X. What does that mean? It's a white Xbox One X that has this really.
Is it white though, or
It's
on the bottom? I
so
see.
it's a white Xbox One X that has this really cool like platinum gradient on it. And the coolest part, unfortunately, I forgot to bring it in and set it up. So you'll have to go to IGN.com and watch the unboxing video. But
Nice plug there.
thank you. When you press the button, there it is. When you press the button
Put it
down
in
there,
post.
instead of that normal Microsoft startup sound, it goes bong.
No, I
It's
do
the
not want to hear
ta-
that every time I turn on my game console.
It's the Taco Bell
My
bell
goodness.
ring. Yeah, I did do an unboxing, and it's up on the site. If you're curious about it, how you can win it, just real quick, if you go to Taco Bell and buy a $5.
Why are we doing marketing for Taco Bell?
Five-
Just show the console.
Here's the thing: is they're giving one away every 10 minutes. If you want an Xbox
Really?
One, yeah, every 10 minutes until mid-November, starting last
All right.
week.
Fair. That's
What do I have to do?
Go to Taco. Well, funny you should mention this. Go to Taco Bell. Buy. I think it's the $5 double chalupa box. I want to say. And then you
Throw it in the
Throw it
garbage.
out.
and then you're given a code to go online, or you can even text it in to see if you win. There's also, if you read the fine print, a way to write in and request codes, which you can do like 30 times or something like that. So I don't remember the website. Go to TacoBell.com. There'll be a link there. There's a way to get all this information, and I mean seriously.
It is a You got
It's
a
a
decent
free
chance?
console.
Yeah, you got a decent chance.
They're
to
giving away like 5,000 of them over the life of the promotion, which has only been up for like less than a week. So go check it out. It also comes with
A chalupa.
this, a white Xbox Elite controller. And when you were
that's cool.
when you
cool
were
vinyl.
talking about
Can I just have that?
no, it's mine. When you were talking about mappable buttons, it made me think of this. So yeah, this is a $150 value anyway. So like, try.
Not bad at
I mean,
all.
you got to eat.
You don't have to.
You don't have to
forget.
exactly.
I won my 360 through Mountain
not-
Dew bottle
In fact,
caps,
maybe
so-
you shouldn't.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There you go.
I've never known anybody who's actually won a console
I've known
through
of
these
several
promotions.
people that have,
Yeah.
had
You
had
hanging
good
outside
ones.
Walmart being like, hey, can I have your caps? I saw you got a 40 pack.
Gross. The police show up.
Anyway,
Sir, you can't do that.
quickly for trivia here, Keith from Sussex, England asks, which of these car manufacturers, and yes, Brandon, I hear your eyes rolling into the back of your head right now.
Hold on.
Which of these car manufacturers have not had a car on the cover of a Forza Motorsport game? Lexus, Audi, Nissan, or Acura? I don't know if you can picture your Forza box covers over
No.
the years.
I mean, whatever. I feel like this is. I'm just gonna go with the most obvious one. I'm gonna say C, Nissan.
Okay.
Probably wrong.
Destin?
Oh man. Now that I think about it, I think Nissan was a Need for Speed brand. I thought it was on there. I'm gonna go with Brandon's choice.
Okay.
D, accurate.
Acura.
Final
It's
answer.
actually Akira,
Staying in the, all right.
my favorite anime.
Well, no, sorry guys. It was Lexus.
Oh well.
Oh, all right.
It was Lexus. Nissan's had the GTR.
Ah,
yeah, damn
yes. Of course.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
And Acura was presumably the new NSX, but actually
I
don't
talked
recall off
myself
the top
into
of my head.
Acura before the show.
What's
And then I thought Lexus, but then Brandon said Nissan, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Well,
the
the
Need for
GTR
Speed.
is-
Brandon knows what he's talking about. Brandon doesn't know what he's talking about.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan's the only car guy on the panel today. So
I don't think I would have guessed that. I probably would have narrowed it to 2. I don't know if I would have gotten it quite right, though. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Keith. If you would like to try to stump us once again, as happened today, send your Xbox trivia question, include 4 multiple choice answers, and note the correct one in your email. Send that to unlocked@ign.com, and we'll play again next week. We're getting towards the end of the competition.
no.
We got a trophy that's almost done being made by a very kind fan in our audience. There will be a trophy.
We have to send
Destin
it to
will not
Alana.
be winning it. We know that much this year.
Yeah,
I think you've been mathematically eliminated. At
Yeah,
this
it's
point.
fine.
by virtue of not being on the show for the first like half or 2/3 of the year.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Next year is a clean slate.
Yeah.
You'll have another chance. Okay. And we'll do another random, loot box segment next week as well.
Yeah, I like this new segment. I do.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And we'll let you know any big releases that come out during the week, so we don't have to do the full marketplace report.
Hey, Red Dead comes out.
Hey, Red Dead comes out on Friday.
Stay tuned for the review sometime before that on IGN and top 25
Yeah.
Xbox One list. Look
Taco
that
Bell
up.
unboxing
Taco
up
Bell
on the site
unboxing.
right now.
Blackout review,
Rory's
as
jacket.
well as the full Black Ops 4 review put together by Miranda Sanchez.
Yes.
Oh, there's a cool game called Hunt Showdown that is PvPvE. It is coming to Xbox One's game preview
Yes.
program, and we just debuted the first look at the next map. So
yeah, that game's been. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with that game.
Yeah.
Like it's a little PUBG, a little Left 4 Dead, even kind of.
but it's Southern Gothic horror.
yeah.
Love that. Came out too early, but
Yeah.
love that.
And we have one of your explainer pieces in the article as well.
Oh,
So,
great. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
So with that, we're ending with a new unlocked logo. We're going to show everybody.
oh, is
our
that
team.
today?
Yeah, I'm being told on the prompter. Logo reveal at the end. So we leave you with our new branding, which I haven't seen it like in this context. Like in
I haven't
the
either.
Set context. I've seen it along the way, but I hope you guys like it. We're going to be doing T-shirts and all kinds of fun stuff with it. Hope you like it, and we'll see you guys
Tattoos?
next week.
Hey, that's pretty spiffy.
Yeah, it's sweet.
That looks real good.